Pershing Square and SPAC abruptly cancels Universal Music Group acquisition deal. They cited complications with the SEC and New York Stock Exchange rules. Man, what do you think some of this derives from? I mean, challenges with the SEC and NYSE?
Yeah, so it's like whenever somebody wants to list publicly on the stock exchange, essentially you have to go through middlemen, so to speak.
Okay.
Not really middlemen, but special purpose acquisition companies. So it's when you list, you're essentially going through investment banks, and then like they collect the money and give the company most of it from the IPO.
Okay.
So like all the money they collect on the IPO,
most
of that goes back to the company for them to like grow the business, and then like shares after that are just traded amongst the public.
Right.
And then a small percentage of that will go towards the investment bank or that holding company, so that you have somebody to kind of oversee this thing. So whenever somebody wants to go on the New York Stock Exchange, like there's all these compliance issues that they have to deal with in order to get listed. So that's why you'll see people prepping for months to get listed publicly before it actually goes public. Right. And then you have your IPO, your big initial public offering day, and it goes on from there. So all the when a company wants to go through that much regulation, you have to bring on lawyers and specialists and all that stuff, and it can be a cumbersome process, and it's a hassle to go through. But once you get to your IPO, then that gives the people who got in early the opportunity to cash out from their public valuation.
Makes
so
sense.
When you raise money privately, it usually has a much smaller valuation, and then you want to grow and grow, and then you have your public valuation, and then you get to cash out. So the people that are like we just talked about, a couple of these songwriting funds, or like these funds that are acquiring all these different music catalogs. They're raising money at a certain valuation typically, and then like once it goes public, they can cash out of their stock and realize a nice gain. With the Universal Music Group thing, this is like a bigger one that was going to happen. One of the biggest music companies. So the holding company for that, like whenever something goes wrong with this, it usually means that their pricing is going to drop, or like something's going to go wrong with them as well whenever bad news comes out. Right. So this is just so that you guys know how to think about this type of market. Even if you don't like go invest or day trade or whatever, like just know how it works, so that whenever we see this shift coming our way, we can just kind of think about it better and like navigate the playing 100%. Field. So it would be akin to bad news, essentially coming out about an artist. Like let's say you did have your own coin or your token, and bad news comes out about you, or I don't know what you did, but let's say you did something bad, something terrible, and your price goes down. Like the news is going to affect your pricing. All right. So that's the main goal that we're trying to, or main point we're trying to get across here. Like what you do, and I don't want to go too far and say like, you can't say anything, you can't do anything, but just know that whenever you have other people backing you, and it's not just you that owns part of your company, it affects everybody that works with you. Right. So there's a bunch of people that work at Universal Music Group. There's a bunch of people that work at the holding companies. Like all this stuff affects everybody. So whenever you have compliance to jump through, I see why compliance is there, to get people to be open and transparent with their books. And, so people don't fudge numbers whenever it comes times for earnings calls and things like that. But I mean, it can be a pain, as we see here, to list publicly. So just be prepared for any of those challenges, especially when it comes to like you guys launching your own coin in the future. Be prepared for these challenges. So it can be a pain in the butt a little bit as that community grows and they get more compliance with it and everything. But in the end, usually the IPO is worth it. So the IPO, initial public offering, again, means that is the time that the public is going to go in, give money into the project, and then the owners, after a certain vesting period, a certain amount of time, can cash out on that stock if they want to.
Yeah.
All right, so that's how it all works there. And Universal Music Group, by the way, still intends to go through with it. It's just that this specific SPAC didn't want to, or saw too many challenges.
Yeah,
going through with it.
Yeah, that makes sense.